I would actually love to dive into this a little bit more because this is something that I don't think is talked about enough from the positioning side of a product. Can you talk a little bit about the levels of sophistication and what you mean here? Because I think that's a good example with marijuana, but maybe you could dive in a little bit deeper for people who aren't familiar with what you mean when you say levels of sophistication and what that means for marketing.
So Eugene Schwartz wrote this great book. He was one of those, Mad Men era ad guys. He wrote this book, Breakthrough Advertising, and it's very dense. It's like a textbook. So if you're not an advertising nerd like us, then it might be a little tough to get through, but there's some big key concepts. And one of those is market sophistication. So it's basically like when you're the first person in the market, you could say whatever you want and you're going to sell because you don't have many competitors. But as soon as people see you having success, all the competitors rush in and they start copying you and saying the exact same thing. So how do you get your advertising message, your copy or your email or your Facebook ad or whatever it is to stand out? You have to introduce a bigger benefit. And that's the second stage, right? So it's like everyone's saying the same thing, but ours is better. Yeah. And then the third level, once everyone matches that sales message, is you have to introduce what's called a unique mechanism, which is like the thing that makes your thing work, right? So it's like a good example is, it's a jump rope, but it's weighted. And the fact that it's weighted, that builds more muscle than a regular jump rope. So that's the unique mechanism, the weight. Right. Yep. And that's everyone has a unique mechanism. It's the thing that makes your product unique and interesting. Then people start copying unique mechanisms. So then you need to demonstrate that you have a better unique mechanism. That's the fourth level. And then once everyone copies that, you get to the fifth level, which is identity. And this is where things start to splinter. And then the process starts over. So you might say, well, this is the best way to jump rope for CrossFit athletes specifically. And then you reach the identity level and then the whole thing starts over again. So what happens is there's some markets that are just so sophisticated that, if it's fitness, right, that market is so sophisticated. There's just so like skincare, right? Like if you're not niche down, if you're not targeting this skincare for these kind of people or with these specific type of ingredients or without this in the production line, like you are not going to stand out. You can't just sell generic skincare stuff. No. You're not L'Oreal. You didn't start 150 years ago. I'm sorry. Like you don't have the first mover advantage. So you have to find your unique positioning and your unique tribe that you're going to attract. And that's where all the storytelling comes in. That's where the long copy comes in, because when people arrive at your website or when they read your emails, they're going to quickly suss out, okay, this brand is for me or they're not for me, or they're for everyone and I'm not everyone. And it's, I could buy from them, but it doesn't speak to me. It doesn't hit them between the eyes when they read the copy.